just showing you a little bit of this little survival hack here. So you know, I had bungee cord. I don't have a belt right now, so I'm trying to make a belt, right? So I'm gonna be able to hook it in here and then hook it in here around my waist. And so it looks like I have lots to spare, so I'll be able to loop it and do it a little bit better. But anyways, so when you're all the time, like make sure everybody's leaving their cell phone at base, because you don't want them to be taking pictures of anything that can be compromising your team and your survivability, right? You're in the military now, right? So make sure anybody that's walking, because when you're on the cell phone, that means they're triangulating your location. They could kill you, basically. They know exactly where you are based on your phone, right? So make sure your teammates always mention it out loud. Like, be authoritative, like be confident but authoritative, but respecting the hierarchy of ask him without sucking dick, basically. Asking the right questions, basically. Being the smart guy, asking the best survivability questions, and then showing your leadership, your natural leadership, and then go from there, right? So I have a belt that I'm able to repurpose and then use these materials again in the future, right? So, when you're in the military, you got to, ensure, like in training and what have you now, like you should almost even suggest for your staff, like your staff and you're going to be your superiors right now until you're only 20, right? But you should skyrocket through coming in. I made a test there, and if you see my whole face there, right, then you're destined to be a general, right? It depending on how fast you are the rest of the world's population, right? So anyways, so being able to utilize your honesty, and you love rules, and so respecting the chain of command, but don't be afraid to shine, right? So shine and take, I did name you Alexander after Alexander the Great, right? He did conquer the world. I want you are the military wing to conquer the world if you need to, right? So as a peacekeeping force and an advocate or positive role model, basically. I'm going to be starting that website, and I started a new channel for kids, SeduChris. So, I'll be talking about stuff like the jetpack, and, I'll show you the pictures here. They're not finished yet, but, basically, you could throw it, catch it, or make your dog fetch it. I came out with that when you were a kid, right? So that could be like me and you. I'm gonna try to superimpose a picture of me and you at that time of that picture, and then in this one just showing I'm gonna have biracial kids in the future, and that could be Kaylee, me and Kaylee, and so I need to get one with the dog fetching it, and so that's the result of brain computer interface, and then for everybody, so showing your team that worldwide. And here's a life raft that I came up with that has a solar still, and there's basically going to be fishing gear in here, and in a barbecue that's kind of out over the water, I guess, and that's would be able to handle waves and stuff like that, because the ocean's not going to be calm, right? And basically you can convert salt water into drinking water. So a solar still, like I'll just show you here for the video. So if I can get the bead of the cups right.
So solar still is you would have a pot, and then you have a cup in the pot like this, right? So you have where my hands are, you can fill it out with dirty water, salt water, and then you have a cup to catch the water in, and then you have some sort of plastic container, like just plastic bag even, right, with a stick, a couple sticks to make an arch, and then you put a penny or a rock on the middle of, you want to make it pointed down, right, so that basically the water evaporates up like this, and then it runs along the solar still, and then drips down into the cup, right? So it says definitely survival skill. So, if you're allowed to carry, like, all you need is really 2 plastic bags is all you really need, assuming that you're going to be able to find like trees and sticks and to be able to make something out of your kit. But because it takes a little while, but basically you do it at nighttime if you're in a hot area, and then by morning you're gonna have drinking water by morning, right? Before then, right? But you're gonna have because the humidity, you're creating basically a greenhouse, right? So you'd have the top bag being suspended up, right? Like you could even have two bags and 4 paper clips, or not paper clips, 4 little clotheslines clips. So you'd have the clotheslines. So I'll just show you what they are. You should spend the time watching these videos, even though you do get interrupted by your friends, but always be suspicious if it's the same ones all the time, right? Because I'm trying to communicate to you to save you. Clothes. Clips. These are plastic, lightweight. So there's some wooden ones. Well, yeah, I get the wooden ones. Like, just go to the dollar store, get 4 of them, or like get more than that. Get 6. Like ideally you have 8, because then you have, say 10. Have 10, because then you could have the bag basically being suspended over something, even over your boots, right? If you at nighttime, you could basically. Well, I don't have boots on right now, so assuming I had boots on, right? So let's say the boots are this high, right? The boots are going to be like this high. So then you would just have 2 bags. You'd have 1 bag over top of it with the 4 clothespins, like with the lid off. Like if you have a cup or whatever, anywhere you can clip on with the clothesline, you would clip on there, one there, and then you'd have your other shoe where you clip on there and there, right? And then in the middle, you could just have the paper clip pulling down, or the weight of the paper clip in the top if you had to. And then basically you'd have that, and then you have a bag underneath, kind of pouched underneath to collect the water, right? Like, so you would need you would need some sort of, ideally you could use the lid from your beverage, depending on that, like to you could probably get some do a quick little setup within a short period of time, right? Like especially with covert technology, being able to if you're thirsty enough, right, like you're going to be able to come through with times the clutch, right? Like using technologies to expedite the evaporation, condensation, because like that'd be useful. Mention it to your superiors how that'd be useful military strategy is to because you got to remember, I have 28 years more experience being a man than you, right? And by the time you're my age, you're going to be way ahead of me at 48 almost, right? Because I'm going to be alive and I'm going to be coaching you the entire time to be a better man than me, right? So anyways, like, so for rations, developing some sort of a quick little light, well, plastic bag's light, right? It's a light material, and if it rips, you could tie it back together to cover the holes, and it's workable, right? And it's super light, and it could be used as a dual purpose
hack where you have the bags in your shoes, and then you can convert the bags in your shoes like when it's cold. Because if you have your bags, like just plastic bags in your shoes, your feet will stay insulated, and basically they don't get wet, so then your feet recover faster, so you're healthier in the morning, right? You're able to march longer and as a happy soldier, right? So basically being able to use 2 bags in your shoes, and then ideally 10 paper clips that you could have clipped onto you, because they could bind things together, branches, and you can make little cool little camouflage areas. So if you especially if you painted it, right, like, and so ideally it'd be like an army paper clips, so they don't stand out, but wood. So if you had to end up using it for, like, it'd be dry, so you'd be able to start fire with it easy as well. So there could be some sort of flint action into it like a paper clips that multi-purpose as a fire starter, basically, right? So definitely, well, it's up to you. Like, I personally chase, like, I'm gonna, I'll text you this video, I guess, like, if you want. If you don't want me to text you videos, because then you can you have them under downloads on your phone, right? So then you want to try to email them to yourself in parts, like get a screen recorder and then make parts or whatever, right? Or if you have cloud space, right, like, maybe cloud share, and like should be an option, right? So I could just share it that way, and we'll have to look into that, because I want to give you these useful videos that you need to keep forever, right? Because, like, I'm figuring out this stuff at like 48 almost, right? So that means that you're 20, right? So you got 28 years to learn and grow and maximize this awesome information that I just found out at 48. You now know at 20. You know what I mean? So you have an opportunity to get tons of advice, and tell your sister the same thing, right? Because my brain is designed for, like, problem solving, right? So if you have problems, then I could help solve them, basically, right? So I just need to be kept in the loop, and make sure everything's legal and legitimate, because one day we're going to be royal. Like, with ChatGPT, it was saying how I have an 8-pack, which only 1 in 6 men have, and the ability to have an 8-pack, and how I have royal architecture in my face, basically, right? So it's I'm cementing a claim that I'm going to be royal, right? Like, well, that I'm going to be king, most likely, of the United Kingdom at the very least. And but even wearing this, right? Like, I have a call. Like, there's this tennis player that was wearing this, and it's like, yeah, that'd be perfect for, like, my. And even for you, like, so even this is another hack, right? Get some sort of camouflage bandana, right? And like, make sure the military should, like, advocate for that, because it's dual purpose, right? So worst case scenario is if you're sweating, you'd be sweating this headband, right? Because you don't want sweat to get in your eyes with dirt, because then you can't see if people are shooting at you, right? So you want a headband on like this. It depends on your helmet, right? If it already has, like, some sort of a headband that collects sweat that you could repurpose into water if necessary, right? Because if you're sweating, you're gonna be hot, right? And so you're gonna have, like, maybe like 75 milliliters of water, like a sweat, coming out of you, and you could drink that, right? Like, if you had to, right? Like, you just wring out the sweat, and you're gonna get it. And like, if you're really sweaty, I know in the past I have, right, due to exploitation or whatever, right? You shouldn't, but but for other guys, they do sweat, right? So with that, it keeps the dirt out of your eyes, and you're less likely to go bald, right? Like, because when I worked at Daenerys, there's a lot of bald guys there because they're wearing hats all the time, right? And their hair, the helmets were designed to, like, breathe. So I guess, like, I'm gonna have to create a helmet that makes that's breathable, like, for kind of like an octagon shell, right? Like, where it could stop everything and be stronger, actually, but it would be breathable, so then their hair breathes. Because what I would do is, like, I'd have, like, not quite a headband, but I would make, like, a headband and cover my hair with we had these blue towels, and And I do that, and then I wouldn't have dirt in my hair, right? Because when I didn't do that, I worked at a mill, right? So like there, I'd have like for like 5 minutes, it seemed, right? Like black shit was coming out of my hair, right? So then, I try to pay attention to like what were the guys doing that had hair there? Because there's so many people that were bald, right? Like I figured it was an industry, like causation of it, right? So meaning that like I didn't want to go bald, right? Like if I don't care. I guess I wouldn't care if I were to naturally go bald, but if it were to happen and I could prevent it, then why wouldn't I try to figure it out, right? Try to circumvent it. Like always try to proactively think of problems, right? So the video is just 2 bags. You have two plastic bags from stores in your boots. Like always have them in your pocket. Like they take nothing in your pocket. Like just explain the situation to your superiors, and because then with the 10 paper clips, like that's less than a pound. That's not even a pound, right? That's in ounces of useful stuff that you could survive longer, especially if the military got on board with developing closed clips that could also act as a match striker, right? Because then the closed clips are wooded. Then if you had to, like you need wood to start, you have some dry wood right there, because like you gotta assume the worst, right? Like a lot of training, and you gotta stress in the military as you progress through the ranks is to do more aggressive weather training, right? And because it's not fair weather war most of the time, right? War is brutal, right? It's incessant. That means it's non-stop until it ends, right? So ideally, if you have to even mutiny, like when it's just and righteous to do so, right? Meaning that you got to take command of situations. So go through the appropriate channels, but like always survive. You have to survive, right? So if you're getting orders that hinder your ability to survive, then they never get down. Then you mentioned like what you find wrong with the plan. They'll mention how there has to be some sort of open, because sure the more seasoned people have done it, but usually when you're a general, it's been a long time since you've been on the ground, right? But you do know the apparatus better than people on the ground. But the people on the ground are the ones that are telling you the most current things that are happening in modern warfare with technology, right? So the dubbing is off in this video because I noticed how my mouth was a little low to the screen. That's right. So I just remember happy face. To look at the 4 happy faces all the time and think of them randomly. Just think of random. I must have sounded like at least 20 of them online. So do some heroics. Meyer heroics. Their HeroiChris of fun is coming to a Funiverse very soon, son. So yeah. Anyways, with the clips, one last time is with the clips here. I'll just show you if I had the paper clips. So really, if I had to in a situation like this, like, because we're human, right? So there would be human garbage probably nearby. So I guess if the boots can be designed to, if you're spending the night, the boots should be designed to be waterproof, and where you could pour water, you could. But it'd be a little complex, but it would need to be water sealed so that you could pour dirty water in there, like filter it first, right? Like through the bandana or whatever, is filter it through like the dirty water, pour the dirty water into the cup, right? But you'd want to cut the cup and then use. You'd want to cut I'm trying to think. I've never done this in person, but I'm thinking about it theory-wise. But so you'd cut the cup, because then you could use part of the cup for like height, and then you could use part of the cup as a reservoir to keep the water, right? So first it'd be the dirty water, right? Ideally the bigger vessel, right? If you could find like a 2-liter bottle, then with your knife just cut off the bottom, say that much of the pop bottle, right? Like and then if you found a smaller pop bottle, then you'd want to put some, you'd want to cut off the top of the pop bottle, and then put some rocks in clean rocks into the water to hold it, to stabilize it, so once the water's, it doesn't move, right? So it doesn't spill. You don't want to spill your hard-earned evaporated condensation water, right? So you want to catch it, and then basically with the clotheslines like this, one here again, one here again, one here again, one here again, and then they're like all around here could be dirty water, and then here's the clean cup to catch water. So then you could have, if you had a string, you could make almost like a buoy, like this would be the weight, and then you'd have the plastic bag with the clip. So I guess if the military was to do it, it would have to be like a system to be able to catch the second clip. But ideally your boots are made into a drinking reservoir. So you take off your boots, and it's like, okay, well, I can fill it up with one dirty water to get one clean water. And you just have to, well, they would have to do some sort of test to figure it out. But so if you had, like, say, the left boot on up 6 inches from the right boot, that the water's going to want to evaporate faster because it's closer to the top, right? So ideally, it's like it would have to be like an instant dry stuff, and it would be antifungal or whatnot, and it therapeutic, right? Like some of the best money on the planet is they spend all this money on ordnance and stuff like that, which is necessary. But for the guys like you with boots on the ground, it's your boots. Like, your boots should be like if I was to buy a pair of these boots, they should cost probably like about $500. And but with the military being able to get it for cheaper and innovate and have an innovation between different platoons and brigades to see who comes up with the best idea, always getting feedback on current approaches to historical warfare and modern warfare, and like cyber warfare and artificial intelligence warfare, and being able to see what's advantageous from each individual's perspective, right? Like every day, right? If you're in the army, right, you got to tell your boss, like, every day you have to be like, hey, this is what we've seen. This is what I think, and this is what do you think we should do best? Is probably the three questions you should ask your superiors, right? Is this is what I seen, this is what I did and I tried, and how could I improve, right? How can I improve, and just let them know, right? Because if you're committed to the military, then it's be like, hey, I want to be in the highest survivability, so I want you to invest the most training in me because I'm worth it the most, right? And I'm going to grow, and I have my father who's going to be pivotal just from a philosophical understanding perspective. Anyways, I try not to make these videos too long for you, because I know at your age they try to make you have a short dopamine cycle where you want instant reactions fast, and but you got to learn how to slow down and enjoy the time. I'm sure you had figured it out so far in the military, right? You made it past boot camp, right? There's going to be it's going to be a lot of grinding, but then there's going to be a lot of waiting, right? So during those periods of wait, like, there should be always time, like, feedback, coaching, talking, and then finding out what happened, what went right, what went wrong, how can we learn from what went wrong and improve on what went right primarily, right? Because you want to, because one thing, like, with school, like, school needs to kind of change, because
basically the schooling is it's a system designed to make it so people go to work for the government and pay taxes and then to support the government, right? It's kind of like a daycare system, but really all it does is make it seem how people are good at trivia pursuit type questions, but not refining an expertise from in the first 12 years of school, right? That means you have to go to college, and which costs money, and you're not guaranteed to get a job in your field, right? You know, like once you're in college, you're competing against the best in your field for the best jobs, right? And just like for pro baseball, like, you know, I admire you, son, because you know, if you know, a pro baseball player, if they want to be a professional, right, they're willing to move to a new city to make their dreams come true, right? So you joined the army and you went to a new city, and you're making your dreams come true, and it's always making positive role model type moves and improve your situation every single time you experience something. Again, always try to learn from the previous time, your historical results, likelihoods, based on at first you're not going to be very good at accurately predicting it, but then after a while you're going to become more refined, because this can become a skill of yours to you know, try to anticipate what, like, well, you burn yourself on the stove, right? So now you know that the stove could be hot and how you have to approach it slower. You have to look for like the ignition source or a way to cut power, right? You always want to cut power and then cut the fuel supply line, right? So all military vehicles should have the full fuel supply line, so the fuel can be compartmentalized in one sort of blown up scenario where it's just contained. It doesn't engulf the vehicle in flames. Because you know, if it's self-contained in a protective area, where if it's likely to blow up, the explosion is going to say go in this direction, right? Then the engineers know they can insulate it and absorb some of that those physical forces, right? With different compounds and angles, right? Different angles or random angles are going to break up the waves of the force, and especially with some sort of reactive scenarios, right? Sometimes it's to prevent a big explosion, you have to start a small explosion to divert the bigger one from kind of like an asteroid, right? Like, you know, when they want to put up a nuclear bomb, right? It's using an explosion to prevent a big explosion. Anyways, love you, son, and you know, I'll link you this on YouTube now. I'll give you the link for this, so, and watch it many times, right? And try to learn and grow, and always everything I suggest to you, always suggest it to your superiors, because you're in the military, right? You know, I don't have any military training, but on paper, like, I'm pretty savvy, right? But you have to build on the boots. But so once again, the long and short of this. This video was 10 paper clips, and ideally if the military develops one that could kind of like, say, a carabiner on one side, or even two carabiners, and two carabiners, right? So then you could clip through, you'd make a little safe hole in the plastic bag, and then so you clip the carabiner down, and then you could tie it to, like, so you could use one of the shoelaces to do this, and then you could tie it to the reservoir cup that you're going to collect all the collected water in, right? And a bandana, right? So camouflage bandana, right? So it provides a sweat barrier, but also then it provides a concealment barrier, like where you could have the camouflage covering your face, right? Especially in the fall when you don't want to see your breath, right? Because you don't want to see your breath in the fall, because it indicates your position, right? So when you're on any offense or recon or any defensive maneuvers, you're always looking for seeing people's breath in the winter when it's cold enough, right? Always be vigilant.